Hey guys, DJ from PTA. I'm gonna go over the SPY as well as Kprx, which was my loser on October 18th. This is a general consensus of what the market had actually did for the 20th, but I want to kind of give you an idea of what we were looking at. Traders that are banking on our long-term SPY options and positions, and calling the tops and areas of interest. So as I stated before, the guys, if you can go back to some of the videos in the YouTube library, back in August, early mid-August is where I was telling you guys that this is a key area right here to look for a wash. And as we got a nice little wash. So those who are holding on, 3-4 month contracts that loaded up very good here are doing very well, and they're giving you a good payout. So it's just something to think about when you're looking at the overall consensus, especially now that we've knocked out the previous low, going into this market recap. One of the things you want to keep an eye on is these key areas. So like this 361.71 area, as you can see, it's been clobbering right here. We hit a low of 348.11, so that created a new area. I'm looking at this area here to maybe add for a push down, but I want to wait for confirmation. We may get a push back up to 396 and then a push down, because some of these shorts may want to get out of their position to just take profits, so on and so forth. But just the general market, I don't see anything in the market that's telling us that this is going to do a reversal. Inflation numbers just came in at over 10%. We're looking at things just getting worse and worse. So, we had a couple green days, some momentum in the upside. Well, right now it's just been kind of choppy. So something to keep in mind when you're in positions. I always tell our traders to make sure you always keeping up with the SPY, because 2 out of 3 stocks move with the SPY. So you definitely want to make sure you're going with the overall trend. And some stocks do inadvertently move different than what the SPY is. If it's going down hard, the stock will be going up, and you may find that. But for a general census, 2 out of 3 stocks is moving with the SPY. So the stock that I actually ended up losing on October 18th was Kprx. This particular stock, it was an interesting play to begin with, and that's on this day here. Realistically, because it popped up on the scanner, it had some didn't really have news per se that was favorable, but it was, the stock surge. It surged about 42% because of a treatment in a special clinical stage. So again, it wasn't like gigantic news. More so is the float and the shares of volume, the sheer volume that was coming in on that particular stock. I think this because everybody was watching it, and that made me want to play the stock. Now, like I said, guys, you're gonna win some, lose some. I like to be transparent and kind of show you the things that I was losing on and the ones that I've won. So in particular with this one, I took a small position, something not as big as I normally do. So that's why it was a small loss relative to the account size. But ultimately, I didn't get to add on lots. I only got a chance to really put on one size, and then I was looking to scale over that price that I was looking at. So let's go over the trade. So looking at this trade, let's break this down to a 5-minute, and that was on this day. Remember, we really didn't have any volume. I'm spiking over the 200, which has really made me feel good about the stock. So I was looking for a big push because we really didn't have any volume. If you look at the 4-hour or whatnot, I mean, overall, we just didn't have any volume. So ultimately, when I saw the push, I didn't really think, this was going to push out and then pull back some. So I was looking for a push above this area. I didn't play the top or anything like that because that's just not how I trade. But I was looking for an initial move up and past this area of 1030s. So what happened, which was very interesting, was right here in this area. So the way I was looking at the stock, we had already knocked out the previous high. We moved up to 1039, and then we got this slight pullback. So ultimately, I'm looking at this from several ways. I'm seeing this downward push here. I'm also seeing we holding some support here. So let me kind of give you a breakdown of that. Let's go down to the 15-minute. So ultimately, I'm thinking, okay, we got us a little bit of a hold around the 960 area. And then when you break it down into the 1 minute, this is where it got kind of interesting. So when it bounced and pulled back, I was looking at this 1024 as the pure breakout off this candle here. About 1024, 1025. 1029 was the ideal area. Right here, about 1028, 1029. So once it had actually swung down and then swung back up, my ideal was that this thing probably has some legs to actually go the opposite direction. So this is what I was looking for right there. So once the stock started to kind of catty corner, and I see that it's kind of like, you know, holding the line, holding the trend, I started to enter. So my first entry was at looking at the information here, 984. So put in an entry here, 984. Green line, guys, like I tell you all the time, is the point of entry. So I got in like right here, and I was risking to about right here. So it was about 20 cent, give or take 20 cent risk, somewhere right here. So again, guys, I'm thinking about getting in here, off the push, going into here. So it was about 20 cent. It says 17, but it was about 20 cent. I think I want to say about right somewhere right here. So my thought process is we got a support here. You know, as far as entry goes, I'm thinking that this area here was acting as entry day support. Exit properties, make that purple. So I'm thinking that this right here was entry day support, which is very close off the previous pivot to break down. So when it broke out from this area, it came back, retest, bounced, and did this. I'm thinking that right here was a sweet spot. So as you can see, if you look at the order, I mean, I had a 20 cent risk, but just at its high, it went 31 cent. Now, I could have did a 1-for-1, got out, but that wasn't what the idea of the play was. The play was that it was supposed to keep bouncing, which it did, and then it cracked. When it cracked, it flushed, and that's the reason. This is what got me out right here, and it flushed, and then it kept flushing. So ultimately, it broke that 950 area, and you can see that everybody was sitting at that 950 area because that was pretty much the next longest red candle in the mix. So psychology-wise, I was thinking correctly. The play just didn't play out. Now, some people were looking for, again, at 1030. On the level 2, you saw orders sitting at 1030 or whatever. But these big jumps, you know, gave me confidence it was going to go. But this right here, you know, looking at the 1 minute, it was 29 cent. This was 30 cents. So I'm thinking it's losing steam as a more red candle started to form and it's starting to get a smaller range. So as the range started to pick up, I'm thinking, okay, once we get over this 1029, 1024, we're good. So like, just think about that. That position here to here would have been an instant 41 cent. So before the break actually happens, before everybody start climbing on, jumping in and out of their position, we would have already been out. We could have been selling to the people who were buying in this area and then let the rest ride. But didn't play out as planned. And that's how sometimes in buying a dip it happens. But it was a solid trade. I could have gotten out here, took a small profit, just knowing that the market conditions were choppy. But a lot of times I like to play it out just to see. And I had a very small position relative to size. So if I had been in full size here, yeah, definitely knowing the market where it was. As soon as I seen it was coming back and it lost some steam back up here at 1010, 1011, probably just would have took a little bit off the table, maybe took a third or something like that, put the rest at break even, and I would have broke even right there. So the consensus overall for the trade was that, hey, this area is being respected. We need to hold this area, but we just didn't get that push. And as you can see, it pretty much faded for the rest of the day. So that was really the key area, or the area that everybody was looking at when it came to that trade. And you can just see it pretty much just faded for the rest of the day. And you probably have some people here late in the day that tried to squeeze in and then they got chopped too. So I think for the most part, if this stock was to pull back up over the next couple weeks, back up to these key areas of 950, 980s, 1030s, it'd be something to look for on a big push, because it had some time to consolidate over the last couple of weeks when it comes to this position. So again, wasn't one of the best trades, but because I understand the market conditions, because I understand what's really going on as far as the sentiment, everyone's looking for a short, everyone's looking for something to be pushed, and this is the area. Again, I got in about right here, had us a push up, but again, I was looking for that push past the 1040, anticipating the 1040 push. And again, guys, when you're trading like this, there's two ways you can play it. You can get in early off of a dip and wait for the push and just break even if that's what you want to do, which is what I typically do overall. But because of the volume, because of the different things, I said, well, you know what? I'm going to hold my full size my position that I had and add into the push, which would have put my entry somewhere around here in mid area, and then capitalize on the move up. And typically that's a good position for you to get into and make that happen. But for that trade, it didn't go through. But definitely wanted you guys to understand the mechanics of why I got into that position. It's the same position over here, playing it on the front move. So it moved up, pulled back, bounced, pulled back, and then it started to consolidate here. So ideally you would have, had your area here, pull back there or whatever. You would have saw this consolidation, and as it started to squeeze and you see that it's holding, 826, you literally could have got in somewhere right here with about 20 cent, I would say 30 cent risk, and right there would have been a great move back up to the 10. So 30 cent for a $1.94 move, that's good trading. But again, I like things to set up after the big push and leg. I actually have missed this portion of the trade looking at another trade. So I was looking to get in on that second leg for it to push when we just didn't get it. So guys, if you have any questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. Click that like button and subscribe.